Hi, my name is Jabin, and you are watching rptv. On 20th July, a powerful moment unfolded in the heart of Regent Park. A local green space formerly known as the Sumach-Shuter Parkette has been renamed in honor of the late Louis March, a passionate anti-gun violence advocate and founder of the Zero Gun Violence movement. Louis March dedicated over 30 years to community safety and youth empowerment, working across the city to address the root causes of violence. He passed away in July 2024, but his work continues to resonate in Regent Park and beyond. On Sunday, family, friends, and city leaders gathered to officially rename the 1.2-acre park to Louis March Park. The event, filled with tribute performances and personal stories, served as a celebration of his life and legacy. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow and Toronto Centre Councillor Chris Moise, who led the renaming vote at City Council, were joined by March's family, including his son Troy and local community organizations. Many spoke about his unwavering commitment to healing and justice in some of Toronto's most marginalized communities. The ceremony began with a land acknowledgement by Cheryl Sanders, followed by a libation ceremony led by Janelle Scurrit to honor Louis March as an elder.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin today's ceremony, as we gather here to rename Sumach-Shuter Parkette to Louis March Park, it is important that we take a moment to acknowledge the land we're standing on. This parkette, located in Regent Park, sits on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishwabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. This land has been and continues to be home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities. We are also on a land covered by a treaty and agreement among Indigenous nations to share and care for the land in peace. As we rename this space in honor of Louis March, a dedicated advocate for youth, justice, and community, we recognize that we are part of a longer story, one that began long before this neighborhood was developed, and one that continues through Indigenous leadership, resilience, and presence today. This renaming is not just about a new name on a sign. It's a chance to reflect on the histories that have shaped this place, to recognize whose land we stand on, and to commit ourselves to building a city where truth, justice, and equity are more than ideals. They are lived values. May Louis March Park be a place of connection, healing, and community, one that honors both the Indigenous nations who have always cared for this land and the local leaders who continued that work in new and powerful ways. Thank you.
A few words to honor our ancestor, Louis March. But as with most African ceremonies, this is participatory. So you have a role to play. So everyone here, are you ready? Yes. And I'm talking about everyone, the children too. They're hearing us, watching us, seeing us. And so we know that our community consists of the things that we do not know, but we see. And we assume they were created by a divine creator, right? Our community also consists of the ancestors. I want to acknowledge the elders who are here, the adults, the young adults and the children. And I'll stop there because I think a lot of what Louis devoted his life to was the connection between all of those things and our responsibility to the children in our community. The infants, the yet unborn, and then all that we see around us is part of our community. So we take care of the land, not just by acknowledging who was here first according to our human clock, but also we acknowledge that the land nurtures us. And so it is part of our community and all of the animals that we see around. So, with all those things in mind, and with deep respect for what this day brings, I'll continue with the libation, and I just want to teach you a few words. So when I say ago, you say ame. Ago! Ame. Ago means I have something to say. Ame means I am listening. And then I am going to pour libation, and you will say after I pour, nsa. Any Twi speakers, native Twi speakers here? Because I don't like to mess it up, but I was told once that if you say nsa, it's a different word than nsa. So we have to let it ride a little bit. Can you ride with it? Yes. All right, beautiful. Ago, 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 onyang kompang, nsa. Obaje, nsa. Anansi kokurutu, nsa. Asasiya, Mother Earth, who nurtures us, guides us, and is responsible for our life. We say nsa. Nsa. Stand behind the booth. And nsa means drink and quench your thirst. Move the mic back a bit. This is my technical director. And so as we acknowledge Mother Earth, we are reminded of what we just talked about, the acknowledgement of this land and the acknowledgement of the fact that everything comes from the earth that we know and the universe around us. So we have a responsibility to take care of it. So we give thanks. And now we give thanks for the elemental spirits. So we talk about the air, the water, the earth, the fire. And I want to stop at the fire because we're here to talk about who? Louis March. And Louis March had a fire in him. So I was working in community services, and he came to me and said, Janelle, should we call it a movement? Or should we call it an organization? But we have to do something about this. Should we call it that it's against something? And so he did a lot of legwork before coming up with zero gun violence movement. And he would bring people to the community center. And we started talking about the real thing that we're after, which is peace. But you know, it's fitting that we have all kinds of people here today because Louis had a fire. He was a protester. He was an advocate. He was a leader. He was someone that cared in a deep way. He gave up so much of his time, so much of his life. It is the stuff that you just can't even imagine. When you talk to him, I remember he's at one event, he's going to another, and you're thinking, I'm going to bed. Louis was there. He was there when someone was killed to meet with the family. He met with the police. He met with prime ministers. His work didn't just start with zero gun violence movement because he was there for years and years. When I just turned the ripe old age of 60, And when I was 16, I remember the people who were around with Badsy actively asking for our liberation, for our peace. And so we're going into Emancipation Month. I'll get back to the libation. So to the fire that Louis represents, we say Nsa.
Nsa.
Nananam Sumanfo, the ancestors, it is I, Abena Janelle Skerritt, calling today to thank our ancestors, to honor our ancestors, and especially Ancestor Louis, as we name this piece of land in his name. We know that Louis would not support owning anything, but we know that it is important for those who are younger, those yet unborn, that we have a legacy in what his contribution was to this city and to our lives. Every life he touched. We just want to say Nsa, and we call on Louis March first to give thanks for all the honor of his service in his lifetime. We say Nsa, Louis. Nsa. And anyone else? Nsa. 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 Sorry. Nsa. 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 And so all the names that remain on the tips of our tongues, that we carry with us when we remember our ancestors, when we remember the things that they said, the things that they did, their teachings. We pour for all of our ancestors and we say thank you. We pour for all of our ancestors and we say we will continue your work. That is what the commitment of being here today is about. It's a lovely park. We're going to come to relax. We're going to come to seek peace. But really, what we need to do is to continue the work. Ashe Nsa. So for anything that I may have said that does not sit cleanly in your heart, I apologize. And to all of you who are here today, I want to say thank you for coming to honor Brother Louis with the naming of this park. To all of the mothers whose energy brought us here today to recognize this effort. We thank you, we are with you, and we say it is finished and it is good. Monica Sa.
Joan Howard and Evelyn Fox, who both lost children to gun violence and co-founded Communities for Zero Gun Violence, shared stories of their work alongside March. Their petition and leadership helped bring the renaming to life.
Good afternoon, I'm Joan Howard. After Louis' passing, myself and Evelyn, we contacted the family because Louis worked east, west, north, and south in Toronto. And I wanted a legacy in his name. So I spoke to the family and they gave me the go-ahead. So I say I want to get something in his name so that his grandkids and his grandkids, when they see the park, they will go into history and say, oh, this is what my grandfather had stand for. How I met Louis. He had given me a call, and he said, I would like to meet with you. I said, okay. We're going to meet at this restaurant, which we did. And then he said, look for Spike Lee. So this is me walking into a restaurant looking for Spike Lee. And he looked like Spike Lee because he had the wrong glasses, you know. After that, we never looked back. We did a lot of work together. The last work him and I did together was with victim services. We did a piece for the schools, which went over well. So I'm here today to honor Louis, Troy and Wendy. I give you guys my blessing. Thank you. I forgot to find somebody. Chris.
First, I'd like to thank not only the community that put in the work to share the petition, to sign the petition, to get people involved to make this happen. I especially want to thank Councillor Chris and Yusuf and Saria, who is from Mothers of Peace, for allowing this to happen. And it's like overwhelming, but at the same time, I'm loving the fact that Louis' name is going to be on that sign in a place where people congregate and love one another as a community, because that's what he stood for. The first time that I met Louis was, I would say, 6 months after my son was killed. And we became like family. He was somebody who understood the ups and the downs that I was going through and didn't pressure me to come forward and do the work. He said, you know what, Evelyn, take your time, refresh yourself, but come back. Don't give up, just come back. We need your voice. We need mothers' voices. We need fathers' voices and brothers and sisters' voices so that people understand the magnitude of what this issue does to people and what it does to communities. So I'm loving the fact that the park with the kids, he would have loved this for sure. Sorry, I forgot, lost my train of thought. I lost it, I apologize, but thank you very much for coming. Thank you for sharing in this moment with us. It's so nice to see all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Olivia Chow reflected on March's moral leadership and the importance of making space for people who inspire change.
Good afternoon. What a morning, what an afternoon. As we gather here today in the spirit of remembrance, gratitude, and celebration. From Rexdale to Rosedale, Regent Park, there is not a corner in this city where Louis' March have not touched us. And it's his movement, this zero gun violence movement, not a team, not an action plan. It's a movement of coming together that we all touch, and I hope it touched you too.
It did, in a big way.
And Louis' March,
In a big way.
Louis' March
No.
is a helping hand for all of those that are working for peace. A shoulder to cry on when the grief becomes unbearable. When the mothers are saying, I can't bear it anymore, yet another mother, like Joan Howard and others, have lost their sons or maybe even daughter. It's a light when the journey grew dark and difficult. And for over 30 years, he worked to improve the lives of communities. It's okay to keep them safe, to build a peaceful and a hopeful future. It connects people with organizations to find solutions together, because he believed that we are stronger together, and the solution comes from the ground, come from the people, not just police or government. No, it's from the people and from the children and the young people themselves. And when their voices are heard, that's when there's peace, that we are stronger. And that's what he stood for, coming together to take action. And Louis gave us reason for hope. Let me give you some statistics. The total number of gun violence related incidents is down by 44% compared to last year at the same time, 44%. The number of youth involved in shooting in 2025 have decreased by 10%. Is it good enough? Absolutely not. He talked about zero gun violence. There's a lot more that we have to do, and we'll do it together. And Louis March wants us to look at the root cause, not just arresting. No, look at the root cause of youth violence. And it's to give young people a reason where they don't need to pick up the gun in the first place, that they feel that there's hope, that there's meaningful opportunities and employment and good school and good curriculum, a chance for them to grow up and be successful, and a chance to dream. And I look at some of the kids that are doing the swing, feeling the freedom, and the children behind us playing in so much joy. He wants every young kid to experience that joy, not just kid, but also young people, as teenagers, and all the hormones getting a bit confusing. That's why the City of Toronto started this year the Summer Youth Safety Plan, where he invested $5 million, not just for, not top down, more recreation programs, day camps, where we feed kids in day camp, because if they're hungry, they can't learn, they can't play. Where we have role models from the communities, where we grants for community programs, where people that have experienced violence can speak out and share the pain, where young people that have gone to jail to go back to the school to say, no, there's a better way. There are many things we can do, and at this park, Louis March Park, is a place where guns can be replaced by games and joy. Yes, it's a place where the family can find solace and strength. Yes, we can do that, because I know it's hard. I know what grieving is like. And this is the park where we can find solace. And a place where we can gather and recommit ourselves, we dedicate ourselves to pick up what Louis March stands for and work in this movement together to end gun violence and feel that power of community action. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Councillor Chris Moise echoed that message, emphasizing how the park would be a lasting tribute to someone who showed up when it mattered most.
Ago. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy the sun is shining upon us today. As mentioned, my name is Councillor Chris Moise. I am the proud councillor for this area, Toronto Centre. It truly is my honor to be here with you today for the official opening of the Louis March Park. Today we gather not just to cut a ribbon or unveil a sign. We gather to celebrate the life, the work, and the lasting legacy of a remarkable leader, Louis March. Louis was so much more than a community advocate. He was a mentor, a connector, a relentless champion for safer streets, stronger communities, and opportunities for our youth right here in Toronto. He was the founder of the Zero Gun Violence movement, but his work went far beyond headlines or public speaking engagements. Louis dedicated his life to helping young people in the city of Toronto. He believed in meeting people where they are. Whether it was Rexdale or Regent Park, Jane and Finch or Scarborough, Malvern, Lawrence Heights or St. Jamestown, Weston, Mount Dennis or Parkdale, Louis showed up. He listened. He held space for grief, and then he got to work. He was often the first one there and the last to leave, staying behind to comfort families, support survivors, and mentor young people. Louis did not believe when we cannot police our way out of gun violence. That's why he focused on solutions rooted in prevention, healing, and hope. He helped launch youth mentorship programs, created job opportunities, partnered with schools, and worked with over 40 community organizations across the city of Toronto. He stood shoulder to shoulder with groups like Mothers of Peace, who's here with us today, supporting parents who have lost their children to senseless acts of violence, turning pain into purpose. He reminded us all that every life has value and every neighborhood matters. We may never truly know the full impact of Louis' work. We don't have data on how many lives he saved, how many kids he steered away from the streets, or how many families he helped keep together. But what we do know is that Toronto is a better city because of Louis March. He lives behind, he leaves behind a legacy that stretches from the high-rises of Thorncliffe Park to St. Jamestown, from the community centers of Scarborough to the basketball courts right here in Regent Park. His passing has left a void we can only hope to fill by continuing his mission, building communities of safety, care, opportunity, and love. This park is a reflection of that vision. It is not just a park. It is a space for connection, a space for healing, a space for growth. It's a place where families can gather, as you can see today, where young people can feel safe and inspired, and where neighbors can come together to build the kind of city Louis dreamed of. I want to take a moment to recognize some of the people who helped make this day possible. To the Mothers of Peace, once again, thank you. Your strength and resilience have shaped this park and helped make this a tribute, a reality for the community. Your tireless efforts carry forward Louis' mission every single day. To the team at the Zero Gun Violence Movement, your work continues to change lives across our city of Toronto. You remind us that every life matters and every neighborhood deserves safety, dignity, and opportunity. To Louis' family and loved ones, thank you for sharing him with all of us. His legacy lives on in the work we do and in this park that now bears his name. And a special thank you to my staff, Yusuf Hussein from my office, for supporting the family and community throughout this process. To the young people here today, this park is for you. Use it as a place to gather, to dream, to lead, and to grow. Know that your voices are powerful, your ideas are important, and your future matters. Never stop believing in yourself. Never stop believing in your community. In closing, as chair of Toronto Board of Health and as your city councillor, I remain committed to continuing Louis' work. That means building a city where every child grows up safely, where every family is supported, and where every community across our city has a chance to thrive. Let this park stand as a symbol of that commitment. Let it be a place of peace, a place of unity and hope for generations to come. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Suraya Ibrahim, founder of Mothers of Peace, spoke of her long-standing collaboration with March. She described him as a brother, partner, and friend, and someone who was always present when the community needed him.
Good afternoon, everyone. I met Louis, so I say. We were going through a lot this neighborhood in Regent Park. And I went to a crisis network table, and one day everybody left and I was just crying, and Chucky stayed behind. Soraya, he said, you need to meet Louis March. Who is that? And he connected us, and he came to the center, and he brought me a cookie. And I said, is that for me? Yeah, it's for you. So within that week, we were talking every day, like when you meant to be working together. That's how I felt with Louis, and I felt being heard. I felt he understand my pain of my community. So within the same week, and we drove all the way to Ottawa to advocate for the gun violence, and we met all the Parliament Hill, the staff, representative, and he made sure his voice was so strong, he's been heard, and that was my first time driving to Ottawa. And he was so bold, and he gave me so much courage, and looking at him and seeing him, the request and the demand that he put on representative, that the young black boy, they are not deserved to die. And so much things that I learned from him, and that gives me courage to continue to fight the cause that before I even aware of the gun violence that he was fighting every corner of the city. After that, we became family. So he used to have a pear, he has a pear in his garden, in his backyard. Okay, I'm gonna bring you a pear, and we're gonna share with all the moms. That's him. He used to come to the healing circle every other week. And he makes sure the moms who are not present, that we used to have, we had a gift card and token. He used to take that one of the mom, she was going to a lot of health, and he used to take that for her. And he said, she appreciates you, and this means a lot that someone is remembering her, because she has 2 sons. She lost 2 of her sons from gun violence. And because of him, we have prevented so many lives, and we fought so many things, and we used to go to City Hall advocating for the gun violence. And he's been missed so much within our group as well. And this means a lot. And this is our healing journey. And we will be coming here, sharing our healing circle with the therapist. We will continue to fight what he left us behind. And the last time he spoke is Karen's event. That was the last event that he attended. And he said, Soraya, did you see this event? It takes so much to organize. Why the community are not attending? He met her 2 times, and he showed up in her event. That he was selfless guy. He used to travel in TTC and making sure that the moms was heard, and the youth was heard in all the corner of the schools. And we had symposium in Daniel Spectrum. The last time that he talked, and he felt like he was talking, he was the last speech. He attended about 3 events. This was his 4th event coming to Daniel Spectrum. It was a National Gun Violence Day. And he said, please support Soraya, please attend. I thought I heard it after that he passed away, and it felt like it was the last speech that he was making. And we lost him too soon. He did his part. It's up to us how far we could go and continue in his legacy. And I want to thank John, Evelyn, that this need to take place, and he believing on, and also the Mother of Peace that tirelessly in advocating what he left behind. And I want to thank everyone through the Mother of Peace, the city councilor, the mayor, that there is no introduction that needs Louis March, that used to go to every corner of the city and advocating, regardless of the religion. And he felt that all of the kids who are passing, that's his kids. And the moms were his sisters. That's how he was looking at them. And we used to march every September, and we used to go to the National Gun Violence Day, and now it's up to us how we're gonna use, he said the last time that he talked to me. Please continue his legacy, what he left. There is so much to fight in this community, and every community and he believed that all the city, all the corner of the city, he believed that we deserve a peace. The kids need to have a peaceful life and equitable neighborhood that they need to thrive. And it doesn't matter what time of the day and weekend he comes to support, that they felt being heard, they've been seen by him. And I hope that will be continuing his legacy. So much that need to be done in all the corner of the city. I want to thank everyone who showed up. And I see you and the smiles and the legacy that you're gonna give behind, not the negativity. That's what we're supposed to be touching every corner of the city. The positives that he installed on us in my heart. It took me so long to move forward after he died. And he's been missed so much. Until we had the healing circle, and virtually it was, and I had a safe place, and to cry and mourn and grieve, and I was able to move forward, and I've been seeing constantly. It was so hard, and to move forward, what have been done, and I call him doesn't matter what time of the day and evening, what is in your mind? What can I do? What can I help you with? That is his attitude toward the community, and I want to say thank you everyone who showed up and to support, believing on his legacy, and we will continue to fight that we could have zero gun violence in every corner of the city. It's possible, we could do it. Thank you. Thank you.
MPP Chris Glover, artist Dina Hamid, and community advocate Michael Baychan also shared heartfelt remarks about March's legacy.
I'm truly deeply honored to be able to speak here today. Soraya, thank you for sharing your story. And I think the thing that'll stick with me, and I'd never heard it expressed so well, but he looked at the children who were passed as his own children. He looked at the mothers who were impacted as his sisters. And I think that speaks to the depth of commitment that Louis had. I met Louis 10 years ago in Etobicoke. I was the school board trustee out there and at a gun violence group. And he came and he brought Evelyn and Joan and Kelly, who had all lost children to gun violence. They had formed a group called the Communities for Zero Violence. And we started working together. And at the time I was on the Board of Health, and we brought together a motion to the Board of Health to take a public health approach to gun violence, one that works upstream. It's not just responding to gun violence after the fact. It's actually making sure that if somebody's arrested with a gun, that there's not another young person waiting in line to pick up that gun and continue those actions. And he brought people from every part of the city, from Scarborough and North York and Etobicoke and downtown, to speak to that motion. And it had a lasting impact on the city. And Olivia and Chris, thank you for the work that you are doing. You know, the work that Louis did, the work that the city council is doing now is part of the reason that the number of gun violence incidents has been reduced by 44%. So let's give them a big round of applause for all that they do. I want to also say that it's wonderful that this park, there's going to be a reminder of Louis and his legacy. But really, the legacy has to be that we have to learn, we all learn from him. Everybody who knew him learned from him. And the legacy has to be that we have to continue the work. And so we need to get back together. We need all of the people here, you know, who have come here to celebrate Louis's legacy. We need to get back together because we have a lot more work to do. Louis always said, and I hear his voice in my head when I hear these words, and it always said, you know, zero gun violence is possible. We already have it in some parts of the city, but we don't have it in the lower income parts. And the way to address gun violence is to address poverty, because that is the root cause. And we can, yes. And so we need to continue the work. We need to help do the work that Louis was doing, so that mothers and parents and community members who've lost family and friends to gun violence, that they can turn their pain into purpose. We need to help to get programs into our schools, like Director X's healing program, prefrontal cortex. We need to make sure that those are getting into schools. And we also need to continue the work that Louis was doing, to go to Queen's Park, to go to City Hall, to go to the federal parliament, to educate politicians about the root causes of gun violence, because the rate of gun violence is determined by government policy. And we need to change those policies to bring about Louis' legacy, which will be zero gun violence. Again, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. It's a real honor to be here.
The greatest compliment our band ever got was when Louis came in and he commended us on the work we were doing by osmosis, really, quite naturally, in fostering a lot of leadership, in fostering pride, in fostering hope, all through the power of music. And it's something that we went on to do a coalition, or not coalition, a collaboration on a zero gun violence march, which we did in 2018. And Louis graciously, as soon as I called him, he just offered and said, yes, I would love to do this with you guys. The idea is that we would walk with a rhythm section. The name of our band is Souls of Steel, so obviously we're a musical band. We had Andre Rouse. You guys had the pleasure of hearing Andre earlier, if you were here. We had the pleasure of having Louis and the support of the Zero Gun movement when we actually did that walk. And it was a beautiful event, and Louis was always there for us. And one thing I have to say, in 2007, when we made this band, we made it out of passion. And Steel Band is a little unique in that we, by the nature of a community band, we actually bring in intergenerational activities. And I think there is a lot of learning and natural mentorship that comes through that. The reason I bring this up is to not really talk about my band, which I could talk about my band forever, but the reason I bring it up is because there are resources and there are community groups that exist within this city. Our community has some of the best elders and the best people that are there to actually navigate youth and troubled teenagers through some of the most difficult times. And sometimes it's about fostering a safe place where they feel safe, they feel heard, and it only takes one person, just one, to redirect a youth on a path that can lead to greater success. I'm a great believer in the pebble in the water, and thankfully, Louis is one of those pebbles. So with that pebble being thrown out into the water and all the ripples it's going to create, my hope and my serious intent is that we do just as everybody has said today. We continue to do his work, and we continue in our fight towards zero gun violence. Thank you very much for letting me speak today.
Mrs. Wendy March, Troy, Madam Mayor, dignitaries, friends, well-wishers, especially Joan and her organizing team. Give them a round of applause for this remarkable event that Joan and her team have put on here today. You know, they say that only the good die young. Well, that's actually a reference to a biblical statement from the Old Testament. It comes from Isaiah 57:1, where Isaiah says, "The young shall perish so that they do not have to deal with evil." the young shall perish so that they do not have to deal with evil. But I say this to you. Louis died young, yes, but he did not fear evil. Louis did not fear injustice. He put his hand up at every moment to say no, to say, I will do something, to inspire people like me, like you, to want to leave this world a better place. I met Louis about 20 years ago. We worked for the same firm, International Financial Data Services. And Louis ran a staff of about 20 people. Even back then, he was mentoring young people. And Louis would be proud today to see those very young people. They're giants inside of the financial industry. Louis and I, our first set of interactions was work-related. But as the months went by, conversation shifted. It shifted to what's going on in the community, what's going on in politics, what's going on in sports. Louis had a great love for the West Indies cricket team. As a matter of fact, a month before he passed, he called me up. He said, hey, how come the team is performing so badly? And as if I had the answer. So I don't know if any of you are following the team. They literally did really badly last week. Louis, I'm expecting a call. Louis was a mentor, a guide, and an inspirer to many people out there. As a matter of fact, he had a saying. Some of you may know this saying. Louis would say, Mike, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the... If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And he would point back at me if I said, Louis, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? And he would say, why aren't you doing something? I saw him attend, he gave a talk on the Danforth after the shooting in 2018. He came to console a grieving community. A lot of us were in attendance at that school, and Louis came, and at the end of the talk, a lady put her hand up and she asked, Mr. March, what can we do in this community to help our youth? We're losing our young people. He looked back at her and said, what are you going to do about it? From that moment, from that spark of him pushing back to say you should be the solution, we created a youth group in 2018. That youth group is still striving today. I'm going to end with this, remind you of this great Canadian poem by John McCrae. Children from coast to coast recite this poem on Remembrance Day. And there's a line that goes like this. From failing hands to you we throw this torch. From failing hands to you we throw this torch. My friends, Louis has thrown the torch to us. Your challenge is to pick that torch up and carry on his work. Thank you.
Troy March, Louis' son, closed the speeches by thanking the city and community for honoring his father's mission.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Troy March, and I'm the son of the late Louis March. On behalf of myself, my mother Wendy, our family, his organization, Zero Gun Violence Movement, and those who stood beside him, I want to thank you all for being here today. I also want to express my deepest gratitude to the city, this community, and every one of you for this incredible honor. A very special shout out goes to Councillor Chris Moise, his board members, and the City of Toronto for agreeing to have this parkette named in the honor of my late father. In addition to that, we would like to thank Joan and Evelyn, the two ladies who got the ball rolling on this. They are part of the Mothers of Peace Healing Group. My father would attend their meetings every other Wednesday to connect with mothers who lost their sons to gun violence. This would not be fruitful if it wasn't for all the parties involved, their hard work, and all their positive thinking in trying to make the absolute best in this event. In my father's name, a true reality. It's more than just a tribute. It's a living, breathing reminder of those for what he stood for, and that's community. My father was a passionate man, a man who didn't just speak about change, he worked for it. Day in and day out, he gave his voice, his heart, and his time to making our city a safer place, especially for the young people growing up, which is why he created Zero Gun Violence Movement. He dedicated his life, more specifically after he left the financial industry in 2013, to reducing gun violence, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. He knew the toll it took, not just on families and victims, but on the souls of the communities. And rather than turn away, he stepped in. He listened, he showed up, and he fought for the better. He believed in possibility. In the power of conversation, action, and compassion. He believed that with support, mentorship, and opportunities, young lives could be changed and futures rewritten. Even now, a year after his passing, his mission continues. And this park, the space where children can play and families will gather, the community can come together, and a reflection of that spirit. A symbol of hope, peace, and purpose, just like he was. Though we miss him deeply, we know he's still here in spirit. In the laughter of the kids that will run through the park, in the conversations that will be sparked under the trees, and the strength of the community that refuses to give up.
We got you, brother. You're good.
Louis March didn't just leave behind memories, he left behind a movement. And today, we honor not only the man, but the mission. I am proud to call myself Louis March's son, and I want to thank you all again for being here and help keeping his legacy alive. Thank you for remembering him, not only for how he lived, but for what he lived for, and for his motto, still standing, still fighting. We love you and miss you, Dad, and this event is for you. Actions don't forever. Thank you.
The ceremony ended with a moving spoken word performance by poet Shahada Jack, written in tribute to March's life and message.
Good afternoon. I'm going to try that one more time. Good afternoon. My name is Shahada Jack. It is my honor to be here today. Before I begin, can you turn to the person next to you and say, "You are powerful"? Can you find someone behind or in front of you and say, "You are excellent"? And can you repeat after me and say, "I am powerful because I am excellent"? The kids were better than you. We're gonna try that one more time on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. I am powerful because I am excellent. Louis March is someone that is powerful because he is excellent. His excellence lives and breathes in our community. Grief, especially in the Caribbean culture, is more than mourning. It is more than sadness. It is a celebration of life. And what a beautiful celebration of life it is to have community stand together and say, "We will carry this torch." That is a special thing that I truly hope continues beyond this moment. Before I share this piece with you all, it's important that we engage and we share it together. So can I get some snaps? Can I get some stomps? Can I get a And I grew up in Scarborough, so can I get a geez? Okay. Scarborough is here. This is The March Still Moves. in the heart of the city, where faces became murals, where names became headlines, where mothers tirelessly asked why. He showed up. Before the candlelight, before the cameras, before the world decided to care, he showed up. Where systems failed, where children were blamed, where playgrounds became the furthest thing from safe. He showed up, not as a savior, but as a man who made resilience his mission. He stared violence in the eye and chose to see the love that could outlive it. As a man who refused to let despair defeat him, who knew that the seeds of our grief, our pain, our stories are how this city could bloom into a garden of change. He showed up as a man who left pieces of himself in every courtroom, in every classroom, on every corner that refused to hear the truth. That peace isn't just a dream, it's an action. It's education, it's prevention, it's a promise. He stood, not with a badge, not with a podium, he stood in that promise. For the streets, for community, for the children who never got the chance to live out their wildest dreams. For the ones who only knew of survival, but hoped for more to see. Although he's gone, he lives on in every youth who walks in their purpose, in every program that changes the narrative, in every mother who knows she's not alone in the grief she's inherited. Louis taught us legacy isn't the accolades you leave behind. It's what you create with your time on this earth. It's the lives you touch. It's the marches you lead when no one's watching. We carry him in the way we show up, in the way we speak up, in the way we refuse to give up. His last name in itself was a mission. He moved with a vision and made us move too. We are the footprints he left behind. We are the march that still moves. Thank you so much. Thank you.
While the event was deeply emotional for many, not everyone in the neighborhood felt included in the decision-making. Some residents expressed frustration about the lack of community consultation. The City of Toronto stated that the park renaming was done in consultation with March's family and local community leaders. Still, the tension highlighted an ongoing conversation about who gets consulted when it comes to naming public spaces. Regardless of the process, many in attendance agreed that Louis March's work has left a powerful imprint on Regent Park and the city as a whole. The newly renamed Louis March Park now stands as a physical reminder of his life's work and the unfinished fight for peace, safety, and equity in Toronto.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow us on our social media platforms and visit our website.